And I remember hearing someone going, after Malik Willis was drafted, Ryan Tannehill will be a great mentor. This is a perfect spot for Malik Willis. Ryan Tannehill, it'll be a great quarterback room, and Tannehill will really help bring him along. And I remember thinking, why the hell is he going to, why? This is the guy that's eventually going to take his job. Wait a minute, this is still competitive within the confines of being on a team. Hey, let me help you get so good so quickly, I lose my job. No thanks, I'm not doing that. Here's Ryan Tannehill from yesterday talking about his desire or imperative to assist in the development of Malik Willis.
Yeah, I wasn't informed of that beforehand, but same thing with AJ, right? The team's going to do the best thing that they think is best interest of the team, and I have no problems with Malik, and we're looking to add talent and guys that can help us. So. We'll add him to the room and go from there.
Ultimately, probably his goal is to take your job.
I mean, that's part of being in a quarterback room in the same room. We're competing against each other. We're watching the same tape. We're doing the same drills. I don't think it's my job to mentor him, but if he learns from me along the way, then that's a great thing.
It's not my job to mentor him, and it's not his job to mentor him. It's not. This isn't high school. This isn't college. There's not going to be a natural progression, a handing of the baton. That's not how it works.
Right.
This is a competition within the confines of being on a team that competes together against others. Malik Willis wants his job. Malik Willis is coming to take his job. The Titans took that guy not with the idea that he's going to be a backup for 4 years, and hey, maybe in year 4 we can flip him for a draft pick like the Patriots did with Jimmy Garoppolo. The idea is Malik Willis is going to come and try to take the job. Now, if it lights a fire under Ryan Tannehill the way that the presence of Jimmy Garoppolo lit a fire under Tom Brady, great. Let's go win a couple Super Bowls because Tom Brady's pissed off that there's somebody who's pushing him. But, yeah, I don't see any reason for Ryan Tannehill to make it any easier for Malik Willis to do what he's trying to do, which is to make Ryan Tannehill expendable in Tennessee, Chris.
No, exactly right. It's not his job. He said it right. You said it right. It's not. He's not going to be a jerk to the guy or anything like that. He's, secure with who he is. Malik Willis asks him a question. I'm sure he'll answer. But, yes, for a guy like Malik Willis, as it was for me, as a third-round pick behind Brad Johnson, I wasn't going to, first off, bombard Brad Johnson with questions. I was like, he's a starting quarterback. He's got issues to deal with as it is. He's got Gruden in his ear all the time. I'll just sit back and watch him and learn. And the other thing, too, is young quarterback like Malik Willis, hey, Ryan Tannehill help out. But more than anything, the Titans are going to have the quarterback coach and somebody there basically in his ear babysitting him the whole time. You don't need the starting quarterback to be there to help them through these things. They're going to convey the messages they want to convey the way they see it through the coaching staff, right? Ryan Tannehill, he might have been taught something in Miami where he goes, in this play, they teach it like this here, but I learned it in Miami this way, and I might do it a little different. And they might be like, Malik, he's got his own way. He kind of looks at this play. So, hey, they'll find their process. Malik Willis, we've talked about, he's got a lot of talent. He's raw. But to what you said, too, Ryan Tannehill's got talent, and he's been a lot better than people want to give him credit for. That's for sure, too. So he's not going to go down easy or go down without a fight. And this is still his team. But, you see how this year goes. He's been put on notice with this draft pick. That's for sure. He's been put on notice that, hey, you're going to have to probably play well. And it's also going to depend on what Malik Willis does in the preseason and how his development looks and all of that stuff. But he knows he's got something at least breathing down his neck there as far as his job is concerned.
And could it be as simple as the Titans got to that pick, number 86?
Yeah.
Malik Willis is the top guy on the board. There's no grand plan here. There's no conspiracy.
Right.
There's no hidden meaning to it that this is a shot across the bow for Ryan Tannehill. This was just the best player, and we're in the business of drafting the best player, and he was the best player.
Yes.
Is it that simple, possibly? I don't know. And maybe that's how they explain it to Ryan Tannehill. Hey, Ryan, don't sweat this. We went out and got the best possible guy. That's our job on draft day. He was our number one guy by far. We need a backup quarterback. We're going to let him develop. We're not bringing him in here with an idea that you're not our guy. You're our guy. We want you to be here. And it's a good problem to have if you have two quarterbacks who can play, and it'll work itself out one way or the other.
I think that's very real. I do. I mean, John Robinson, again, I know a little bit about his process. I am sure he's very true to his board and how he's evaluated and the staff around him is evaluated. And they discussed a lot that this might be a draft, or they look like, right? They talked about this. Even when we were at the Combine, we were talking about this, that they might look to draft a quarterback for the future, somebody to develop. And then the ultimate one fell in their lap. I mean, to me, he's the perfect third-round pick this way, and the fact that he's raw. He's got some things that he has to work on in the pocket, like you've heard me say a million times, that are not easily fixed. It's not one where you just go, well, that's easily fixed. I have no problem. He'll definitely be good at it and good in a year or two. It's going to be a little bit of a process there. So, maybe that rawness also helps Tannehill buy a little time here as well and prove his worth. But I think it's a smart pick by the Tennessee Titans for all the reasons you stated, let alone it might be one of those where you strike gold because you go, wait, this guy is raw. But there's a few things he does that are really impressive and special to where we could set our franchise up here for like the next 10, 12 years here. Tannehill for 2 more years and then Malik Willis. So you'd make that pick all day long, and good for John Robinson in doing it.
And here's the bottom line. Even though it feels like Ryan Tannehill has been around forever, he was drafted the same year as Russell Wilson. He's still got football left in him with the Titans or with someone else. So go out and keep playing well. And if it doesn't work out in Tennessee, if they do decide to do to you what they did to A.J. Brown when you tried to renegotiate your contract, and instead of drafting your replacement, they say, hey, we already got him ready. Malik Willis, good to go. See ya, Ryan. You want more money than we're willing to pay you. Fine, you go somewhere else.
Right.
And you continue your career somewhere else. That's the way the business works. But as long as you are playing at a high level, those options will be there. And I think that's the way for Ryan Tannehill to react to this. Internalize it, motivate yourself, but you're not required to spoon feed anything. This isn't part of the job. You must help your potential replacement get better. There is a structure and an apparatus there to get that guy better. You need to take care of yourself. He needs to take care of himself, and that's the way that it should go. But this idea, and I guess the whole reason we're talking about it is there are people who are paid to cover the NFL who just think that they are, they're Batman and Robin. That's not how it works. They're not Batman and Robin.
Right.
It's Batman and Superman. And both are trying to take over Metropolis and or Gotham City and, let them go about their business and see who emerges as the top person.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. That's what it is. I mean, no question about it. And, we'll see where it goes. Ryan Tannehill, I feel bad for him with the way the year ended last year and everybody piled on him. That was cool what he did yesterday. He's got some competition in front of him. He's going to have to play some football to erase the memories, and some good football to erase the memories from the divisional playoff game, make fans feel good about him again. But, yeah, this is a guy, to your point, NFL media too, and everybody involved in watching the draft. I mean, this was every time a quarterback was going to be taken, Malik Willis. He's the 6th pick. He's the 8th pick. He's this pick. He's that pick. Malik Willis. And that's where, to me, just on the outside looking in, it's where it's a little scarier than your normal third-round quarterback pick here. There's a love affair of Malik Willis in a lot of ways, I think, with the NFL media and some of his following, that there's going to be extra pressure on Tannehill as compared to maybe another team with some other third-round quarterback in years past or whatever.
In some cases, I would say it's good for a quarterback not to be taken in round one because then you can develop more slowly and with less pressure, and it's more inconspicuous. Malik Willis carries the shine of a first-round pick into round 3, and he's different from another third-round pick in that way. There is an expectation. They may as well have taken him in round 1. There's the same vibe in Nashville that there would have been if he was a first-round pick, because the idea, the moment that name is called,
exactly
here's Ryan Tannehill's future replacement.
Yes, that's where it is a little different, and that's where he put on notice, going to have to play good ball, whatever, because yes, he plays bad stretch of games or a few bumps in the road. this is the type of guy and talent that I think, of course the fans they're gonna clamor for it. You're gonna hear something about it. So yeah, that's you said it right. That's where it's a little different. They're looking at it in Tennessee going, we got a first-round quarterback that just fell to us in the third round. And there's a difference there than, oh, wait, this is just some guy that's been sold to me as a third-round quarterback for the last 7 weeks in the draft process on TV and all of that. There's a difference there, and I do think that adds a little more pressure to the situation for everybody involved in the Titans organization.
Interesting observation made yesterday on Twitter by Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, who was undrafted in 1994, made his way through all sorts of levels of football, not the NFL, including the Iowa Barnstormers of the old Arena Football League, NFL Europe at a time when, I don't know what it was called, World League. It's gone by like 5 different names. But you might call it an American underdog story, as Pete is reminding me. But Kurt Warner tweeted something that I think is interesting, and it requires a little discussion here. Said Kurt, I will never understand the I'm not here to mentor the next guy mentality. So for all you young quarterbacks that need a mentor, DM me and I'll be that guy. Happy to help in any way I can. First of all, the premise is whether or not I'm here to mentor the next guy. See, I think Ryan Tannehill is not required to submit to the notion that Malik Willis is the next guy. That's the point. Like, when Aaron Rodgers has to go fill up his glass with 5 fingers of tequila after they draft Jordan Love 2 years ago, I mean, wait a minute, he's the next guy? No, I'm still here for 4 more years. He isn't the next guy. You're drafting a guy on a 4-year contract. I intend to still be here when that 4 years is come and gone. So I reject the premise of Kurt's tweet, because from Ryan Tannehill's perspective, he should look at this and say, well, he's not the next guy. This isn't a situation where I'm late in my career and I know that I'm going to be gone, and they're bringing in the guy that I understand I am going to help get ready to take over for me. I don't think Ryan Tannehill's required to sign on to that.
No, I mean, it is a little different that way. You're right. This is not old, aging quarterback. You said it right a few minutes ago. It's a guy that's still like at the prime of his career. I mean, at the tail end of the prime, right? I mean, maybe we're starting the plateau or downward slope or whatever there in the mid-30s, low 30s, however old Ryan Tannehill is. But I think that's the difference. You're right. Kurt Warner, I'm the Giants quarterback. Oh, wait, the number 1 pick in the draft or whatever, the number 4 pick in the trade, however the hell that worked out. He's here. I mean, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. And same with, I'm on the Arizona Cardinals and they get Matt Leinart. Now, again, Kurt's a special guy and that he's very nice that way. So he's different. But I don't think all quarterbacks are going to, share that same sentiment with him that way. And I don't know. Maybe he mentored them too damn good. Maybe he would have won a Super Bowl with the Giants if he didn't mentor Eli so well. Who knows? I'd like to know how well he did mentor them. But again, that's not everybody's the same. And I think it is a little bit of a different scenario here. You laid it out exactly perfect. It's different than what Kurt Warner was doing with the Cardinals and the Giants as compared to this Ryan Tannehill, still playing really good football and just had a hiccup in one game.
And it was obvious when Eli Manning was drafted in 2004 by the Chargers and then traded to the Giants that Eli Manning was going to become the starting quarterback inevitably.
Right.
And the Giants, I think, were 5-4 with Kurt Warner when he got benched for Eli Manning.
That,
and I think if I recall correctly, I may have to redo my research on this and refresh my recollection. I think I remember Kurt was pissed. I think he was a little bit. I think he was pissed a little bit.
Right.
I think he was pissed a little bit that he got benched for the guy that he was supposed to be mentoring.
Yeah.
Hey, great job mentoring Eli. He's ready to go. Kurt, sit your ass on the bench. Wait, what?
That's what I was joking about. Maybe he mentored him too good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Great job, Kurt.
Right. Well, he has every right
on the bench and now take a hike after the season.
Yeah. He's got every right to be pissed, though, too. He is 5-4. I get that, too. It doesn't mean he can't be pissed and still mentor the guy, too. But, yeah, I don't think everybody's going to share those, same things. Like I
can't reconcile the two. Hey, come on. I'm going to teach you, Jimmy. I'm going to teach you how to be the best quarterback you can be. Whoa, slow down there, Jimmy. slow down.
Well,
I didn't mean to make you that good.
Well, speaking of Jimmy's, exactly. How do you think Brady was giving Jimmy Garoppolo every clue that goes through his brain? I doubt it.
I think
no way.
Brady's kid was putting shaving cream in Jimmy's shoes.
If he was a good son, he would have. That's right. I expect that. Yes. All right, I'm done. I got nothing else to say. What do you got? Something else?
Pete has found something from 2004. I have as well. I found some comments from Kurt Warner when he got benched. He said, because he came on a Monday after a Giants game, he said, my play yesterday I don't think had anything to do with that, the decision to bench Kurt Warner for Eli Manning. Read into that as much as you want, Kurt said, but there is a bigger picture here. There's more things that are trying to be accomplished here, and that's why the decision was made. Yeah, they brought Eli Manning in to become the starting quarterback. They brought him in to be the guy. It was just a matter of time before he became the guy, and they decided then to be the guy. And by the way, Kurt Warner did have 12 fumbles in 9 games. He was on pace to set a record, so maybe he should thank the Giants for benching him when they did to keep him from setting a record for fumbles in a given season.
Yeah, well, it was a different – again, this is where it's a totally different scenario too. Now, I know everyone's thinking Kurt Warner Hall of Famer, but this is a time in the career when – the Rams went.
This was the donut hole. This was the donut hole
for a few years.
Kurt Warner got. Hey, look, revisionist history or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Kurt Warner got into the NFL with a big ass donut hole in the middle of his career where he was not Kurt Warner.
Exactly.
He had
right.
the greatest show on turf on the front end,
right,
and he had the rebirth in Arizona on the back end. But he had 3, 4, 5 years where he was not a Hall of Famer.
No, he did not play good for the Rams. They decided to have Mark Bulger over him. The Giants, as you see there, with 5-4, but it wasn't necessarily like he was killing it that way either. You're right. So that's where it's a different scenario too. That was Kurt Warner at a time where he was kind of trying to just survive in the NFL to a degree, almost. And that's Ryan Tannehill's not at that point, and that's what makes this a little different. But nonetheless, I think what we're talking about here is Malik Willis brings a little bit of a first-round pressure to the situation. Even though he's a third rounder because of all the things we stated. And that's why I think we'll, have our eye on this situation a little more closely maybe than some others.
To make a comparison that folks may understand who've been following the game in more recent years, this is the equivalent, I would say, of Joe Flacco at some point in the past few years all of a sudden becoming a great quarterback again. That's basically what happened with Kurt Warner. Went from great quarterback, Super Bowl MVP, to fizzled out. And the only difference between Flacco and Warner is Warner found his groove again in Arizona, and Flacco's still been kind of searching for it. And I think at this point the ship has sailed. That's the difference. There was an extended stretch where benched, not effective. Because it wasn't like he was benched for unfair reasons. It's a meritocracy. He wasn't playing well. He got benched. Right. He was run out of St. Louis. He didn't last in New York, and he finally got it together again in Arizona. Remember when was it Ken Wisenhunt in 2007 started with the 2-quarterback system where Matt Leinart would start when they'd fall behind by 7 or 10 points. Kurt Warner would come in, save the bacon, and then they'd put Matt Leinart back in. And Leinart was pissed about it. Well, hey, play better, buddy, and they won't put in Kurt Warner. And it lasted until Leinart broke his collarbone or something, and then it was just Kurt Warner. And boom, next year they're in the Super Bowl. 1 year after that, Warner retires, and Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have that 2008 season, he may not be in the Hall of Fame.
That's a fair question. I do think that's a fair question. There's no doubt about that. It's certainly debatable, I think, that way. But that last, Super Bowl appearance and the fact that he got to 3 Super Bowls and won an NFL MVP and a Super Bowl MVP, I think puts him over the edge there in the voters' minds. But, yeah, you're right. That last hurrah probably sealed the deal.
I think if we would start looking at the list of all-time passing yardage, touchdowns, completions, I have a feeling that Kurt is farther down the list than people realize. And there are people much higher on the list still playing now who have already surpassed him significantly because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Case in point, Cam Newton has more passing yards than Kurt Warner, according to Pete. 45th all-time in passing yards is Kurt Warner. And Kirk Cousins, not Kurt, but Kirk Cousins has more passing yards in his career than Kurt Warner. So Phil Simms. Feather in the cap. One day after we commemorated the anniversary of the drafting of Phil Simms, we got our best argument for Phil Simms to get in the Hall of Fame. Phil Simms, more passing yards than Kurt Warner. Here we go.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm not saying that sarcastically. Phil should be in.
Listen, I'm biased. You can't ask me. Of course, I think he should be. But, it'll be he got hurt for that second Super Bowl. That always hurts his case a little bit. And then, kind of what we're talking about here. The league is so different now, that the stats are crazy. You're going to get done, and it's going to be like, is Tom Brady 2 times better than, Fran Tarkenton and some of these other guys that are going to, 40,000 yards? It's a different league. So the stats are going to make some of the older quarterbacks not look the same.
I know, but Kurt Warner played in this era. Phil Simms, you're right.
Yeah.
But for Phil Simms to have more passing yardage in his career in his era versus Kurt Warner in his era, this isn't I'm not trying to bash Kurt Warner here. I didn't intend for this to happen. I'm just saying, folks, look, if we're going to reflect on Kurt Warner's career, I really do think if you remove Super Bowl 43 from the equation, he's not in. Maybe he gets in later, but he doesn't have a bronze bust with a flat top haircut in Canton, Ohio right now. I don't think it happens.
Yeah.
By the way, if Ryan Tannehill, to bring it all back to where we started, if Ryan Tannehill passes for 2,000 yards this year, he will pass Kurt Warner on the all-time passing yardage list.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.